So guys, here we are again, as always, with me. You are welcome, thank you. So, I did some research. And yeah, by the way, this is the shader that we have for the plane. It looks alright, but I did some research, so let's go to layout. And if we go to render, and we are on Eevee render, everything is okay, right? But if we go to the render properties here and change to cycles, then everything disappears. Nothing is here. Why? I noticed that there is a little button here which is only in cycles. In Eevee you don't have that button, but in cycles you have this button, and this button I probably pushed it by mistake, and it just paused the render. And it pauses the render and there is no render basically. So now we have render. So if you want to have a plane in cycles, not in Eevee render, but in cycles, which is not the real-time render, if you want to have that plane with shadow, the shadow plane, you have to do the following. So we will call this plane Eevee. Oops. Eevee plane. I will put it here. It will be on the bottom. So Shift D and just click, and this will be our cycles plane. Cutless plane. Cutless plane and Eevee plane. Okay, it will be better if they are close together. Can I move it? I cannot move it, but I like to move it. Whatever, we cannot move it. We cannot rearrange them probably because they are on the alphabetic order. So A, B, C, C, I, S, E. I don't know why E. Because E is with Cyrillic. So basically, let's fix it, and you will see this will go now up because now is in Latin. Okay, A, B, C, E. Okay, so cycles plane and Eevee plane. The Eevee plane we will turn off the visibility, it will be invisible. The cycles plane we'll remove this material on the cycles plane, we don't need it, and then we will go to the, I think, let's see if this was the properties, or this. Okay, let's get a new material, and then, I forgot, where is this? There was just one click shadow to be a shadow plane, and it's just enough. But we have to find it. So, is it on the material? I don't think so. So let's find it here. Shadow, no. Shadow plane, it should be. So it should be... Okay, I paused the video and I saw it in YouTube. It's in the newest version, because in the oldest version there was cycles properties here. In this squarish object properties here, you have cycles properties where you're on cycles. But here you have to go to, I forgot it again, invisibility, yeah, shadow catcher. And now you wait a little bit, and you will see how the shadow will appear. And this is okay. This is super quick. Of course, in Eevee it's a little bit more complicated, but now I showed you how to do it, so probably you should be able to do it yourself by watching what I did. So. Let's go back to the primitive, to Eevee. Let's select the Eevee plane and deselect the cycles, because we definitely will not use the cycles. What are those cylinders, by the way? They are strange. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Now, we have everything. But I think the shadows here are a little bit too dark. So this is now a 2-point lighting setup. Because we have one light, which is some kind of a rim light, backlight, and we have one key light, which is the front light, which is the strongest, by the way. Okay, and if we want, we should go like this, Shift D, and move this just here. And we will have another lamp, but this time this will be a little bit less... not that strong. I mean, the other one was 5000, this will be 100, maybe around 150 watts. And this is okay. Maybe without shadow, or let's see with shadow. Doesn't matter that much. But what I notice is the shadow here is kind of bad. I mean, we have a shadow, but just behind the object that the shadow should be the strongest, we don't have a shadow. Definitely. So what we can do, we can go to our render and let's find shadows here. Okay, light threshold and everything. Okay, I think we could go to the light which is making the shadows. So this light, this is the sun. Go to shadows, open the shadows, and this bias here is messing our thing up. So let's try and just dial it down to nothing, to 0.001. Yeah, I know it's this shadow bias, I'm not sure exactly what it does, but obviously we need to put it in almost 0, and here we have still a little bit of thing. I guess this should be more subdivision, so subdivide it one more time. So it's not that yeah, we will not look at it anyway so close, so it's fine. It's fine, we can leave it like this. The eyes, I think, could be a little bit bigger. Let's see our concept. I will put it here. And let's see why I think that they could be bigger. By the way, I'm in layout, but I don't have my bottom thing, so I will do this. No, I don't want to do this. I will do this. No. I will try to do... No. Ah, what's happening? From here? Oh, yes. And here I will select... what was this? The compositor, no, timeline. Yeah, in the bottom, we should have the timeline, because we'll do some things with the timeline. So now we have 3-point lighting setup. We have a key light. This is the most used lighting setup. One key light, which is the strongest. One fill light to fill the shadows on this side, on the other side basically, but not too much. I mean, it has to be pretty low. And one rim light or backlight, which will lighten the character from behind, and it will have a little bit of a light here, which in our case is not exactly the case. It should be though, but it's not visible that much, the backlight. Although, let's zoom in a little bit, it's visible a little bit here on the sides, which is fine. I think this is completely fine. Let's see our character, it's looking kind of good. I'm okay with it. The eyes, let's see the eyes. Could they be bigger? Maybe. Maybe. Definitely. So let's go to the head. Control Shift down, Control Tab down, and let's just with G just make them a little bit bigger. Of course, let's go to the normal view and make them bigger. And then when we make the eyes themselves, I mean the eye sockets bigger, then we can make the eye ball bigger also. Although now you can see it's it's going inside the glasses, but it's okay. I mean, it doesn't do any damage, so it's fine. He doesn't have, by the way, any eyebrows, which is kind of strange. No, I want the eyes, so I'll select them, but I will not be able to scale them from here. I will go to Tab, press A to select and scale. I will scale them a little bit and then put them a bit back. Not front, maybe back is better, yeah. Maybe a little bit more back. Or, this is kind of nice. Let's put them a little bit more back, but not too much. Yes. And here I have to go again back to the head and to the sculpting mode and fix this area in here because I don't like it. So I will go to solo mode and see here, why is this double? Yeah, it is double. It's we cannot avoid it. It's double. So somehow, sometimes I feel when I'm watching my courses, I don't watch them basically, but I watch few videos just to see how's the sound, how's the thing, and I notice that my voice is a little bit too much sometimes. So if it's too much for you, I'm sorry about that, you know. My voice is a little bit deep, and yeah, I'm comparing myself to other YouTubers and tutorial makers, and their voices are more, maybe more bearable. But yeah, people are not complaining that much of my voice, so I guess it's okay. I'm a little bit picky about myself, which is absolutely normal. We have to be. Then we show everything. It looks not so good, but I think it's okay. And yeah, we don't need to do anything else. This is fine. Let's go back to object mode. It's cool. It's cool. So the thing is, let's talk a little bit about the overall shape of our character. So this is not, this is it. Okay. Now make sure when you have your head like this, so you have a forehead, you go down, then you have a nose a little, and then you have mouth, and then you go here, and then in the back you have like this and go here. So the neck, where is the neck? Is kinda in the middle point of the head. If you make it more back, it will be like a turtleneck. It will, if you make it more front, it will be like something like this. So try to make it in the middle point. Also, what else? The legs are pretty straight and pretty same thickness. So this thickness here is the same, is the same, is the same, is the same. They are not like this or like this. They are like a pipe, basically, because it's a cartoon character. Then, let's see what else. Here we have a line like this, easy. Then it goes up a little bit, and then it goes down to the ground. And here it's flat. And I told you how to make it flat already, or with the brush, with the other brush. So this tail, I don't think we have to touch it. It's fine. I mean, it looks fine. And here we need to have a big kind of a belly thing, because it looks like this sweater is a little bit big for our guy, and it looks sweet. It looks nice. Make sure you have very big glasses. See how big they are? Like the size of the glasses. Let's see here. Size of the glasses is kind of the size of the sweater. You see? It's almost the same. Yeah, you cannot notice. I mean, if I don't tell you that, you'll probably make the sweater a little bit bigger because it's more normal to be bigger. But in our case, it has to be almost the same size. In our case, it's kind of the same. So it's cool. We forgot to make the horns, but maybe in some other course we'll make them. We'll see. And also the trunk. We forgot to make the trunk and the husks. Yeah, for our elephant. But it's okay, I think. So we'll see. Let's move it. Let's make from this. Let's make the trunk again to see how it will look. I think it will be fine. Oh, it's looking not bad. I mean, it looks a little bit like an elephant because it has very big ears. Although on the elephant, they should be a little bit more tall, I guess. Okay, no problem. Yeah, we have to have fun sometimes. So, other thing to keep in mind, I don't know, I told you most things that you have to consider. Of course, the neck, it's not ultra thin, but it's not very thick. You see, it's kind of, you know, thin. Mainly thin neck. Ears, enormous ears. So you can see the glasses were big as our sweater. The ears are bigger, much bigger. So we have to consider that too. If you make the ears smaller, I don't envy you in this case. But whatever. So do we have time to make the turntable now? Oh, we have 6 minutes. I think for 6 minutes we can make the turntable. So, to make the turntable, let's remove this. To make the turntable, we have to do a few things. First, the most important thing, we have to add empty plane axis. So this object, empty plane axis, will not be renderable. It will be just a dummy object that we will animate. So we will make the turntable of this object. This object will turn like 360 degrees in 180 frames, for example. But we will attach to this object, we can attach two things. We can attach the lights and cameras, and they will rotate, the camera and lights will rotate around the object, or we can attach only the object. So the whole mouse we can attach to this dummy. And I mostly attach the whole mouse, but it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever you attach, it will be kind of the same result, with the exception of the environment. If you have an environment which is kind of different in the different sides, if you want the environment to stay and your mouse to rotate, then you have to attach the mouse, not the camera and the light. If you attach the camera and the light, then the camera and the light will rotate. The lighting on our mouse will be the same, which is good, all over the rotation, but the environment may change. So I decide to attach the mouse. So let's select this. We are selecting this. We're on this. So now what we have to do is press I. I'm pressing I. Oh, okay. Pressing I. And here in object mode, when press I, we have this menu, insert keyframe. So we insert keyframe for rotation, because we will rotation. Now, since our animation will be 180 frames, I will go here, down here, you see, here. Hopefully you see it. And I will write 180. And this will be our whole animation. Then I will go to the middle of the animation, because I saw that in one kind of a tutorial. And now I want to rotate my this particular object, which is the empty object. I want to rotate it half of it, so 180 degrees. So what I will do, I will press R to rotate. Then I will press Z to rotate on Z axis. And then 180. And I will press Enter. And you see behind me, probably you see, behind me, 180 here. So it's okay, on Z axis. So it's completely fine. Now we have to again press I, go to it, press I, and rotation. Okay, now you see here in the first, when we pressed it, those yellow things appear here. Now they appear here, and now we go to the end, 118th frame. Just drag it, and then we do again the same. Press R, press Z, 180, Enter. And now I, and rotation. And now we have the whole rotation. And if we move this, you will see this empty object is rotating. Okay, we like it. Now what we have to do is the following. We have to go and go to the end, to the corner here in the top, and just drag like this a little bit. Like this, okay. Press N to remove this. And we have to go to this particular thing here, you see? Now we are on the 3D viewport. This also is on the 3D viewport, here. 3D viewport. We want to go to Graph Editor. So on this window, we go to Graph Editor. So don't be afraid to do that. We have to zoom out with our scroll wheel, like this. We can zoom out a lot, like this. And basically, I don't know, but this is very long. I don't like it to be that long, but I don't know how to change it. Maybe with Control dragging or Shift drag on Alt Control. I don't know. Whatever, doesn't matter. Now, what we want to do is select the middle point. This is the middle point, and X, and delete keyframes. So we select it and delete it. The middle. Now we select everything. We make sure we select all of this like this. Just select it. Don't worry. Right click. And it's not right click. Basically we need here. It was the key was V. Yes, V. V is what kind of handle type will be this. So now you don't see it, but the line is looking like a little bit like this, and then it goes like this. So our object will start slowly to rotate, then we'll continue to rotate fast, and then we'll slow down at the end. We don't want that. We want completely same rotation all over. So we have to go here and press vector. So this is with V key on your keyboard. We don't see the keys, but with V key, when you select everything, let me go here by the way, and again restart this, okay? And now go here, select everything from the 0 to 360 degrees, probably these are the degrees. And when we select it with the left mouse button, we select it, then we don't press the right mouse button, we press V on the keyboard, you see it, V, here, V, and we go to vector and we press vector. Now it's absolutely straight, so our animation will be absolutely the same from the beginning, the speed, so we can loop it very easily. That's the idea here. So we can of course get rid of this now. Okay, I made it 2, I'm the best. I can rid of this by getting on the end here and just going on the other direction and just, you know, getting rid of it. Now this has animation, but we need the animation on the whole object. So what I do, I select everything, I deselect the plane with shift, and I deselect or just shift click on this. So now empty is the last object selected. You see how everything else is dark orange and the empty object only is selected. Here you see empty, but it's another type of orange. If I deselect it with shift, it will be dark, but I select it now and it's the last selected object. So make sure this is the last selected object and make it a parent by right clicking, parent object. And that's it. Now you have a turntable. Let me show you. Go here and press space. Amazing. I know. Amazing. And it will have to be looped. I mean, continuous loop. So this way, you make your object. Let's go to render. And let's kind of show our cameras and lights because they disappeared somehow. And let's go to the camera view by pressing 0 on our numpad. And let's turn this with spacebar. And this is what we will see in when we render it. So now we have something like, let's stop it, okay? We have something like transparency. This is transparent and I want to put it on another background. So how to make sure you will have this transparency when you export your image. So you go to export settings, of course. Resolution, you make sure this is the resolution that you want. In this case, I want to be the normal resolution, it's default. And then we go here down. Output, you go and select your folder, that's normal. Then the file format, we go to FFmpeg video. Because, and still, it doesn't have ARGB, which is the HBA. RGB with alpha, we don't have it. But if we go to encoding and go to QuickTime here, we still don't have the ARGB. But if we go here to video codec and go to QTRLA or QT animation, then you see how this RGBA appeared. This is with alpha. So if we click it and now we render our video. So if we want to render image, we press F12 and the camera is rendering an image and we can save it from image, save as, and save it. Cool. If we want to render a movie, we go Control F12, which of course is render animation, Control F12. You see it up there. Up there, you see it. So render image, F12, render animation, Control F12. Of course, you can always go render and render animation and click it and it will start render this animation. So even in cycles, even in Eevee, which is the this kind of a render, real-time render, it takes about a few minutes to render this turntable. So yeah, this way you render animations and I told you how to render. Now I want to go to N to have this menu, go to view and camera to viewport and zoom out a little bit our mouse. Because when we rotate, I don't want the ears to touch the top. And it looks fine. I mean, it looks fine. I think we are kind of ready with our character. Let's see it in a normal render, just F12. And that will be it for this course probably. Or maybe in the next video I can try to make another thing, like something like an ambient occlusion to see what's going on, because we don't have ambient occlusion now. Although I just turned it on from here. It's turned on. So distance, maybe we can turn the distance up, but still we don't have it. I mean, you see, I cannot zoom in on this object. Okay, see here we don't have that nice, we have a little bit of shadow here. I would like it to be a little bit more probably, but this is my opinion, this is my preference. If we increase this, no, it doesn't work that much. I mean, factor 5, no, it doesn't do much. Ambient occlusion off, on, yeah. This ambient occlusion is a little bit like trace precision, ambient occlusion off, on. It doesn't do anything. So yeah. By the way, in the render we can increase the samples here from this render menu. We can increase the samples, or we can increase them in the viewport also to see it better in the viewport. But most of the time I think in the viewport they are like 16 or something in the default settings, and but we can increase them. If you increase them a lot in the render, you most likely will get a little bit slower render, which is not a big deal, but whatever. So this will be for this video, and we will see if we have more, or just we will say goodbye for now, because this is what I wanted to show you. This is it. I mean, the whole character from start to finish, of course, with pose and render and turntable and how to export your files. Of course, you know how to save your files and save often, because yeah, I have some a little bit of interesting experiences how Blender just disappears, and my save is a little bit old. And I also, when I work, I always save like this. I save a file, and then I work, I save over it. And then suddenly I decide that now I want to save version 2 of this file. So I save this file, version 2, 02. And I continue working on it. Then I decide I have to save 3, 4, 5. So at some point on a normal character, I have like 8 or 7 or 8 versions. If something happens with one of those versions, I can go back to the previous one. So I will not lose everything. If it's something happened to one file, I will be able to get back to the previous one, and I will lose like 2 or 3 hours of work, not 20 or 30 hours if I work on only one file. So this is it, but you have to have space on a disk, especially for this kind of big characters like this one, which if I bump it up everything and I show you everything, it will be like almost maybe 25 million polygons. This is just the low poly part of it. So yeah, and now it's stuck because every time I open this file, it starts to load it into the memory, and it's 600 megabytes, I think. Our mouse file is maybe a little bit smaller. Okay, see you in the next video. Definitely.